big brake harvesting in there and then round the outside of that Porsche. Fastest car on track on the last lap was the 14 Porsche. He knows that Anthony Davidson is heading towards him. Got to keep that at bay. He's going to 9.5 hours just under to keep that at bay. 22 seconds apart. I think the next thing we'll be really looking at is a driver change for the leading 97 car in the Pro GT category of Darren Turner. I think that's going to be the next thing that will happen for us.
Yeah, Bruni just puts in his fastest lap again.
And Bruni in the pits as well. So just waiting really for that Aston to swap over and change. Here comes the 51 car.
Yeah, the battle's properly on now between this Aston and Ferrari. So as expected, it's just fuel. So it's a relatively quick stop, and the next stop from the Aston within the next couple of laps will be driver change, fuel and tyres. So the gap should come down a bit.
Car, our leader in P2, just going out and onto another lap.
Just seeing the 79 WeatherTech car still going around, still circulating with the two drivers, Cooper McNeil and Jeroen Bleekemolen. Top job by those guys. They're doing the whole race alone, just the two of them.
Car on pit road. It's Corvette 74. Was in the fight at the, for a huge minority. Had that great battle that they had earlier on in the race, and just a couple of problems. Small little issues with the brakes and things like that, so dropping back fourth still in the category. It's a full service, apart from I don't think the driver got out, so it's tyres and fuel keep the driver in there.
Ollie Gavin on board. Sarge, as we call him.
Why is that?
Because he keeps everyone in line. And,
oh, dear me.
It stems back to when we were running the marathon as a BRDC team, British Racing Driver Club. And Ollie's a very keen runner. He's run several marathons. And so all the sort of new boys like myself, when it came down to our training and things, he was really giving us our tips and making sure we really did our training properly and stretched out properly and everything like that. So yeah, he got the name of Sarge. Yes, Sarge.
And it's stuck ever since. The number 2 back on board with that number 2 Audi. Seen a lot of this car in the last 20 minutes, half an hour from inside. Toyota announcing on Twitter that we regret to announce that the number 7 car has officially retired due to an electrical problem with the wiring loom. So yeah, obviously potentially a small electrical fire in that car.
Yeah. So we see the 3rd place Porsche from GT Pro. Richard Leeds getting out of the car, and I think that was Fred Makovici getting in. Of course, this car's by no means out of the race. You got the 2 cars slightly ahead of it by a lap, the Turner and Bruni Ferrari, but still anything can happen with 9 hours and 20 minutes to go.
Well, that was it. You only need to look at the number 7 car to give you a kind of proof of that. Everything running beautifully smooth. A yellow flag at Marshall point 115, which is just on the entry to the Porsche curves.
As I was saying earlier, a lot of the teams, a lot of the drivers, you see daylight and you feel like you've made it. So that's car 61. It's had contact and stopped, which is another Ferrari.
Luis Perez compact car.
That car's had quite a bit of contact, a few offs during the race, so that won't be anything too new to it.
61 cars had contact and stopped, which kind of tells me it could be quite terminal when it says and stopped. Small debris, left-hand side on the exit of Marshall point 115. So there's bits of car from the compact car.
We've got Darren Turner now coming into the pits. 97 Aston Martin. Coming in from the lead. Yep, driver change. Stefan Mucke going in. So this will be tyres. Oh, they've got the car jacks there. I think we might see the car going up and getting pushed back in. They're going to do the fuel first.
So pads and discs change probably?
Might well be.
We will soon set a slow zone procedure. We will soon set a slow zone procedure.
Well, they've picked a good time for it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a standard. This is always going to be planned. I'd imagine if they've got to do it, then the Ferrari's going to have to do it at some stage as well.
There is the Ferrari just coming past. So
the Corvette got it out of the way.
The lead is going to change about now as he goes past. So that lead has changed. 9 hours, 17 minutes to go.
So we've seen the Corvette. What was that? It was probably two hours ago or so. They changed their brakes. So I would expect the Bruni Ferrari and the Makovici Porsche, sooner or later they're going to have to do the same. So we've got the stop for the 14 Porsche there with Mark Lieb.
Okay, so that puts Davison past, but Davison obviously will have to fuel as well at some point. So Davison is past and up into 4th place now. Next slow zone at Marshall Point of 106B to Marshall Point 115. So 106B, which is out of Arnage, to 115, to just before the Porsche curves. Now, when they get to these slow zones, Darren Turner actually went and showed us his car, didn't he? So we've got a display in the car which flashes up yellow or red or white, depending on what the thing is. And you've got to be at 60 kilometers an hour when you arrive at the slow zone. And then once you get the green flag at the other end of it, you're back up to racing speed. Okay, they're back out already. Wow.
That's a quick stop, way faster than the Corvette one.
Your local garage wouldn't do it in that time, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think that was always scheduled. If I remember last year, I'm sure we did the same thing.
Okay, the second place car in the P2 category, number 36, is just entered the pits. Ollie Webb driving that car. I'm not sure whether there's going to be a driver change. It's like daylight when you look outside there. Degrassi's on a bit of a mission here. 5 seconds a lap quicker. So it's down to it's way under a minute. It's going to change again because Degrassi is going to come through the final split shortly. So I think it's about 40 seconds. For me, the Porsche can't hold off. It can't hold off. It's just not fast enough with the issues that it's having with its brakes. So
second place car, yeah, as you say.
Here it comes now. Here's the number one Audi on its way through. We're going to get a time here. It's 41 seconds between them now. 41 seconds with 9 hours to go. So the 61 car in. That's obviously having some probably routine work. Looks like front brakes again, and okay, we're just gonna. The 97 car, as we said, is on its way out. Now that 97 car on its outlap, 1 minute 58 behind the 51 Ferrari, which is leading the category. Car 8, Anthony Davison, into the pits. He's on pit lane, he now turned on to pit road. 4th place for that car. In a little bit of a battle with the 14 Porsche, which could just swing back to the 14 Porsche now that Davison has come into the pits. It's a headlight clean, it's a windscreen clean and some fuel. As I say, a lot of laps down. So we've still got this slow zone between Marshall Point 106 and 115. Drivers being advised to keep right at Marshall Point 115. I think our time, the actual times are slightly skew with just at the minute because everyone's in 4 minutes, which might be true, but I don't think it is. I will be with the slow zone. Yes.
Exactly, yeah.
I was thinking every picture I've got, they're going at full speed, so how are they doing 4 minutes? But yeah. There's a bit of a variance if we start to look around at those times. Brendan going considerably slower, but that could be just because he's nursing a car. So that's costing them 30 seconds. It's more than 30 seconds to go through that slow zone.
Yeah, well, they're doing 60 kilometer an hour when normally they'd be doing 200 and something or other. So
it's a big difference, isn't it? Okay,
we're not seeing any onboard footage from it, where you can see the graphic to see the speed and everything. but I know how some drivers might tend to brake slightly later and carry a little bit more speed into that zone. And yeah, they get down to 60, but maybe they get down to, and that's where you see the gains. So De Grassi there, yeah, he's 8 seconds faster on that lap than Hartley.
I don't think Porsche will stand for that, though, would they? If their man's starting to get eaten up. It's still, the gap's still 40. So it's still a similar gap. So it's not...
but as you say, you look right down the times of all the drivers, and they vary massively.
Okay, 61 is being serviced and is ready to go again.
This door's still open, or it was hanging open.
I mean, we've had, if I'm honest, we've had quite a few little door issues, haven't we, during the night, during the race. It's not something that I would have thought was quite a regular thing. Doors coming open, or...
Yeah, you can see it hanging out. I just wonder whether it's had a ding at some stage, and it's just, yeah, it might be taped into place, but it's just part of it is hanging out.
It's not where it's meant to be intended anywhere. So, we'll just have to see.
So is this the 74?
I'm not quite sure whether it is the 74 car, yeah.
Or is this? It could be 73. I thought Sarge had been in already.
It says 74 in the pits on my screen anyway. That could be wrong, for all we know, but it's saying that 74 is in the pits.
This might not be a standard pit stop.
No, there's people looking through the back window. So
yeah, I really don't think he should be back in the pits this quickly. So they've got a wee issue with the Corvette.
Yeah, that's the legs hanging out the back of a car is never a good sign, is it? When they're trying to work on it. So we wait and see.
Yeah, it looks like they've got another part that they're gonna change. Something like an air duct or something that's sitting on top of the car. I think they're going to try and put that in.
Mika Salo.
Yeah, Mika Salo in the car. 12th in class. So quite down the order. They've had their issues with this car all weekend, really. So it's they're doing well to have it still going, really. Still a fair difference in lap times. You got Trellaway 4:08, Hartley 4:12, so he's losing 4 seconds. It might not all be at this slow zone, but I bet you some of it's at this slow zone. And then you've got De Grassi 4:08, you've got Lieb 4:09. Davidson's just been in the pits.
You see, I mean, we're down to like 38 seconds there, so it's ever changing. Still work going on the 74 car. It's now looking. There's no need some some times. There goes the 97 car. Trying to keep a battle, but
So the 51 Ferrari isn't actually all that far behind it. It should be coming along. Well, actually, it's with the slow zone, it's going to be another minute or so away, but it's the furthest ahead that the Ferrari's been of the Aston in the whole race. But as I said, I think the Ferrari crew are going to have to do a brake change on that car as well at some point.
Yeah. Let's just see. There's obviously a swap for position there. The 74 Chevy dropping behind the 73 Chevy. Let's just see if we can find out a little bit of information on that car. I'm not saying we're going to. Let's just see if we can pick up on some information. Can't see anything at the moment. Just going to whiz through just to see what we can. I'm going to say nothing on there. Just saying mechanics working on the rear of 74. No information on other than just working on the car. They are through. I don't know whether it's going back together. I think it could well be going back together here. I've noticed there's an awful lot of parts get thrown, well, stuff gets thrown back towards the pit carriage. Mechanics throwing stuff for them to get it out of the way. There's the 51 car going through, following the number 8, but it is as we run to 9 hours to go and 6 o'clock in the morning nearly is here. It's the number 2 Audi now that is out front. That electrical issue for the number 7 car, stopping it out on the circuit about an hour ago now, and it stopped it. Not really seen anything of it. It was in the dark, we couldn't see much of it. The second car, the 20 Porsche of Hartley, nursing brake problems. He's been told just to bring it home from 10 hours to go. He's been told to bring it home, and he's been hunted down by the number 1 Audi of Lucas de Grassi, 37.778 seconds behind. And then there's a bit of a fight for 4th and 5th between the 14 Porsche and the 8 Toyota, 18.9 seconds between them. So it's all getting a bit, well, interesting in and around there. There is battles for 2nd and there is battles for 4th. Leading the P2 category is the 35 car, and then we have the 51 Ferrari back in front in the GT Pro category. That needs probably a brake service at some point, and it is the Danish crew, the Aston Martin Danish crew, leading the GT AM category. Now 74 cars back out. We're not really sure what they've done to that. Green flag as well, and that gives us probably the perfect timing, because our partners in crime have re-arrived into it, looking refreshed. I don't know whether they've been to bed or not, but they are here. Bob and Gilles are here now, and we're going to take over for a little bit. And you've got some battles to look after, which is good, so that's the main thing. So we will pass over, and we'll be back with you. And then we go on.
Our first question is, what have you done with number 7 Toyota?
Well, it's had an electrical fire, and we saw nothing. All we saw, the first thing we saw was the leaderboard change, and we were like, because it kept changing before. We were like, it's a mistake, but no, this time it was correct. Frantic phone calls from the Toyota team to try and work out what had happened and where the car was, and then got confirmation from, believe it or not, the number 2 car, that they passed the Audi, and it was that the Audi passed the Toyota and it was stopped. So a mechanical issue with a wiring fault, small wiring fire, we believe. And oh, hang on, we've got a car 14 is in the gravel at Marshall Point 96, 95 and 96. That is Indianapolis. So, yeah. Okay, right, that gives us a good time. While that car stopped, maybe to swap commentary positions while we just get ourselves all organised and we look at the front end of a Porsche stuck in the gravel as such. So we'll be away for a minute or so and Bob will be back in.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's Bob Constanduris here, waiting to step into the seat vacated by Julian Porter. And they've left us a Porsche in the gravel to deal with. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. It's a beautiful, clear morning out there. Don't do too much sunbathing. Watch out for the sun. It's not too strong at the moment, yeah. And so anxious faces at Porsche. Car in gravel at MP 96. That's Indianapolis. So that's a quick area. And likely to be, here it is. Here's the replay, here, the right-hand part. Now the left hand, and it looks as though he overshoots the left hand and doesn't hit the barrier, so it's stopped, basically, there. So what happens now? We're just coming up to, I don't even know how many hours we've done now. 6 o'clock in the morning here in France. And there is the Porsche. It's either it's being assisted by a marshal, being pushed out. So it should be on circuit. That car was in 5th place and a lap behind the Toyota in front. Anthony Davidson in the sole surviving Toyota in 8th place. And that is the question. They should get it back, and it's presumably no problem. Of course, we've seen the Toyota going off, the Porsche going off at Arnage quite a few times, and now it's back underway again, so it hasn't lost too much time. We've seen it going off here at Arnage, which is the next corner, where it's had a few problems, but very interesting. And there it is.
That's the sister car.
That's the sister car, in fact, in 2nd place.
Full service, Brendan Hartley out that car. And we're going to see, I think driver rotation says Mark Webber getting back in.
There's Mark Webber. So, and there is the number 1 car comes in at the same time. That's the Audi of Lucas Di Grassi in 3rd place. And we just have to get slightly used to what's going on here. I'm disappointed to see... Oh, yes. No, I'm not disappointed at all. By left Jan Mardenborough doing great things in the Ligier. Number 35, and it's now Alex Brundle in that car, but it's still where it was before in the lead of LMP2 by nearly 3 minutes.
Absolutely, and Alex just taking that car over now from Jan, who had, Super Jan, done another stint while we were away. Quite how he does it, I don't know, but clearly he's done the bulk of the driving tonight, still with that sister Ligier, but with the HPD engine. Tristan Gomadi, 2nd in class, and Nelson Panciatici, who was on the charge when we were last with you, sitting 3rd. And that class still everything to fight for, those first 3 cars on the lead lap. And Frankie Mayer, I think, is probably on that lap. He's just in 4th place in the Orica. Just going to come through now, I think.
And then we go to GT Pro with Jimmy Bruni in the lead there by 1 minute and 54 seconds from Stefan Mucker. So it's not as close as it was, because it was phenomenally close when we left 6 hours ago. But it is still close there with Fred Makovici, and the first of the Porsches not very far away. And the first Chevrolet seems to have dropped back. That's Jan Magnussen. The second Chevrolet of Oliver Gavin, now 3 or 4 laps further, a couple of laps further back, no more than that. So I don't know what these chaps have been doing with our order when we left them. It was all very good, but interesting to see Nicky Thiem in the Aston in 95, still leading Pro-Am. Actually, that was, I think, led by the other car when we left.
It's still just as close, I think. Certainly in the other classes, LMP1, we see Ben Treluet with a 2-lap gap to Luca Di Grassi. As that old car comes through and rotates through, it's nearly a full 3-lap gap, actually. And the number 1 Audi on 1 less pit stop than the number 2, the 2 car leading the 1, with Mark Webber in that Porsche 12 seconds behind the number 1. So real fight there for second, but the 2 car, Ben Treluet at the moment, with a clean pair of heels to the rest. As we see the 98 car running off out of the pits. We saw the sister, at the time class leading 97, having its brake change about 20 minutes ago. All done in around 4.5 minutes, and back off out. So we expect to see that. I think from all of the GTE class cars, I'd be surprised if the Ferrari of Bruni didn't need brakes at some stage. Well, we've already missed it, but I don't think we have.
Certainly heard the, I think it was the Aston getting brakes.
Yeah, absolutely, that 97 car.
Hearing of that.
So the 20 Porsche coming now through the Porsche curves.
So there's the Rebellion car of Matthias Besch, that was. It's now in 10th place. Unfortunately, still seem to be 1 or 2 problems with that, dropping back, and it's embedded in amongst the LMP2 cars.
So the 12 Rebellion still in the hunt. It's fantastic to see that car still in at this stage, that new Oreca R1. Just trying to see, change timing screen there, so I can't see where it's at. I'll try and get that now, but certainly on the first page of the timing, which is fantastic to see for that Rebellion, down in 10th, 19 laps back from the leading Audi. So they've had quite a strong run really during the night, all things considered. The sister car going out yesterday with, I think that was a transmission issue for that car, or a powertrain issue is what the team reported. So 25 stops for that car as against 18 for the leaders, which is what we would expect, I think, to see from such a new car. A few little teething problems. That said, that new Ligier absolutely flying in the LMP2 class 1 and 2, and those guys at Omrock Automotive, Oak Racing, will be absolutely thrilled with how that's gone so far. And let's just hope for those guys that it continues as it is with that superstar driver lineup. The Nismo Gamers, joined by Alex Brundle, who's currently in the car, off running away in that class. All the first 3 there still covered by the same lap, and I think we see Pantiatici just nearly a lap down in the Alpine, which is actually one of the Oreca cars. We see Michael Frey on the out lap in 4th place in that class, with a further lap back. And Harry Ticknell in the Jota Zytek next up in that class, still doing the job in the 38 car, the 38 Jota Zytek, as we see brake service now for the 95 Aston, the Dane train. Nicky Team doing fantastic things in that car last night when we left you, and that car still leading the Pro-Am class. So we expect this to be a 3.5 to 4 minute stop while they change the pads and discs on the front of that car. I don't think they go to work at the rear at all, by the looks of that. They're pushing the pads back there, which is what you see. The squeezing going on in the arch, and the man on the left front already done. The guy in the right front now has to push those back. They can't push them back together unless they coordinate that. So otherwise the pistons would come out of the caliper that's left. So that's now done. Disc and pad done. Some of the guys in the garage giving it a quick polish. New tyres going on and a new driver installed. I think that would be Nicky Team coming out, and on rotation, I believe Christian Poulsen going back in. Just trying to find our paperwork again.
Yes, when we left last night, 6 hours ago, it was really, really, really busy. And in the village in the back and everything. And this morning, I don't know where everyone's gone, but all that's left is a few broken glasses, broken bottles, etc. lying around. So it's very quiet out there in the village at the moment. This is sort of morning after the night before feeling.
Absolutely, as we're going to see the 95 car now being dropped down. I think that will be, as we see it update. I think it is Nicky Team in, actually, so it may just update as we head down pit lane. See if they did that any quicker the second time round than they did it the first. So on pit out, no, it is Poulsen. It was right the first time round. 4 minutes for that stop, so just slightly slower than they managed that the first time around. The 46 car now in. Looks like that's a full service. The 46 car running second in the LMP2 class. Tristan Gomendi getting in, having set on his in-lap a fastest for that car. Middle sector, and we see Nelson Panciatici coming across the line in the 36 to just knock him down place in the class. So sticker unlock's going on, and we hear it fire up and away it goes. We'll tell you who's got on board that car in just a second. As he crosses pit out, that will update on our timing screens, and we see, I think, Tristan Gomendi staying in. Interesting to see that he's getting new tyres partway through a stint, so perhaps they're on a quadruple stint. We'll catch up with where everybody's at in their rotation very shortly. Ben Treluet now in the number 2 Audi, heading down towards the Porsche curves. As he turns into the right-hander here. No traffic, the sun starting to come up there, you can see, just behind the trees. Visibility again will become a factor now as the low sun rises in a different area of the circuit, clearly, as you see there, just turning through the karting corners to stare into the sun. Fairly clear windscreen, all things considered, on this number 2 car. Of course, that rain earlier in the race really making these cars look dirty as the 2 car comes into the pits. So our leader owing us a stop. Looks like they're ready with tyres.
It's a bit of a tradition, really, isn't it, to leave the car quite grubby. Very often they don't clean the cars. And, for example, when they turn up at somewhere like Goodwood, they're still, a couple of weeks later, they're still in their Le Mans grubbiness, as it were. And the idea is not to change it at all, just leave it as it is.
So the 2 coming in, Lenegade calling the shots there. The car stops and up in the air. Yep, this is going to be a full service. So Ben Treluet comes out the car. In goes Marcel Fassler. Very safe pair of hands, Marcel. Very experienced driver, as all these guys in the Audis are. Still fairly young team when you think about what the old guys have done, the Christensen, McNish, Capello guys. This is a new era for Audi. Over the last couple of years, they've been doing this rotation, introducing these new quick guys from either DTM or some of them single-seater backgrounds. And then we see the old hand of Marc Genet drafted in at the last to support the number 1 effort. And of course, that number 1 car, who would have expected to see that sitting there in second overall? With Luca Di Grassi at the wheel currently. after the incidents they saw earlier in the week, that car being rebuilt from a bare chassis after an incident that befell Luc Duval in the Porsche curves. Luke, he's all right, but replaced by Marc Genet in that car, stolen from the Motorsport squad with Oliver Turvey taking his place there. So the 2 car on its way. New tyres coming down through the Dunlop, under the Dunlop Bridge into the Forest S's. Already dealing with that GTE traffic and getting the hammer down. So the 91 car, the 91 GTE Pro Porsche, just trying to work out where those guys ended up, because as we left, those guys were into the fuel tank and also changing brakes, and they lost quite a bit of time there. I think they might have lost a bit more time during the night, actually, because 182 laps down in 39th overall, so I suspect there was further problems there. 16 stops for that car, whereas the class leaders are currently on... Yeah, the class leaders on 17 now. OK, so lost a bit of time. Riding on board with the 2 car now on its out lap. Marcel Fassler still leads the race by 3 laps. And we're seeing a puncture now for car 90 after Marshall's 0.115. So he's not got too far to bring that back. That's on the entry to the Porsche curves. 90 being the Ferrari 458, the orange car. That being the 8-star Motorsport car, one that we really fancied for the GTE AM class victory, but they just don't seem to have had the luck at all. Very experienced lineup, that car with Frankie Montecalvo, Gianluca Roda and Paolo Roberti at the wheel. Some great experienced drivers in there in that AM Ferrari, as the 2 Audi now heads up towards Indianapolis. And we see the obligatory shot of the moon going away, sun rising, and still people in the fairground. I don't quite know how they manage it, to be honest. It's very cold out there, a chill in the air, and a very dewy morning. So the GTE AM leader there in front of the overall leader, as they go past that car. Try and catch up with some of the other guys. Young Mac McMurray still in the race, 15th overall, our youngest ever starter. As that car, the Ferrari, the 8-star car, making its way back into the pits with that flailing left rear tyre. It always seems to be left rear on these GTE cars. We saw last night a lot of the Porsches have that same failure, and some of the Porsche Carrera Cup cars, same thing. So clearly somewhere here on this circuit managing to cut those left rear tyres.
Yeah, Jerome Bleekemolen we saw last night bringing a Porsche back with his second puncture, I think it was.
Yeah, absolutely, that was, and that car went back into the garage. I'm not sure quite what they ended up having to do to get that car sorted out, but interesting to see if it's still out there. At the 70, that car being promoted up to the Pro class.
It was just the 2 of them in it, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. They lost one of their drivers because of an accident in practice. Just flicking through to try and find that car now and see if it's still with us.
Well, actually, it's not very often a flailing tyre like that does quite a lot of damage. But the car is on its way again, so not too much damage at all, really, to the Montecalvo 8-star car, Ferrari, which rejoins now. And they literally just took the wheel off and said, well, I think it's all right, off you go.
Send it.
Didn't even give it a wash. Well, probably did, actually. Panciatici is setting some fastest times and actually a personal best as he battles 2 minutes behind Alex Brundle's Ligier in the Alpine. This is over the lead of LMP2. So 35 and 36. 35 is the Ligier, 36 is the Alpine, two legendary French names. Ligier, of course, Guy Ligier, adding his name to that car. And the Alpine, which comes from Dieppe, was a branch of Renault, a tuning branch of Renault, as we see the Tracy Crone Ferrari coming in. The green car, which is so... green Ferrari, which is so recognisable. Also on the same lap is the second Ligier at number 46, and on the same lap as the LMP2 class leaders. So that's still pretty close there. Ludovic Badi in the car, Tristan Gromendy and Pierre Thirier in that all-French car in third place in the LMP2. And we'll just keep an eye on the next car, which is number 34. That's the Orica, being driven still by Michel Frey. That was very much in the fray, if you'll excuse the pun, when we left last night. But it's a lap down at the moment, number 34. That's Michel Frey. John Lancaster, of course, in that with Frank Meyer as well. Michel Frey from Aarau in Switzerland.
And Nelson Panciatici is just set the fastest lap of that car so far in the race. You see the number 2 car approaching to put another lap on Mark Webber's 20 Porsche. But no, just going back to that LMP2 battle, Nelson Panciatici some 3 seconds faster than Alex Brundle on that last lap. And Alex seems to be happy in the low 40s, while Nelson's able to punch in the slightly quicker times, 3:38.0, as he came round last time. So those guys are going to work to close that gap to that number 35 Ligier Rumba, the Onroque squad, the G-Drive branded car.
Let's remember that Alex Brundle's father, Martin Brundle, who they sound very similar, a bit like another father and son duo, apparently. They sound very, very similar indeed, Alex Brundle. And Martin Brundle, who is a former winner here in the Jaguar. So he knows how to do it, but they've got a great relationship, as two racers would. And, of course, they did race together here a couple of years ago. So Alex, very much a man of his own in his own career and very much in his own right, doing a fantastic job there with Jan Mardenborough, who we left doing fantastic things here, and Mark Schulz-Hitzky, all the way from Vladivostok in Russia, about as far away from here as you can get. And that is the class leader. Panciatici's second, as I say. Panciatici, his crew is Paul Lupchata, who's been quick really from the start of the week, and Ollie Webb from Manchester, and third in British Formula 3 in 2010, and now doing the 3.5 series, or was doing the 3.5 series in Renault. So three pretty talented single-seater drivers in that car as well. Panciatici did GP2 for a season. So interesting to see there. Then we go, if we have a look at the GT Pro, we've got Jimmy Bruni 1 minute and 45 seconds ahead of the Aston Martin of Stefan Mucker, another driver. In fact, his family have run cars. The Mucker family have run cars in the past, but Stefan very much in his own right in this Aston Martin. And then Fred Makovici, who used to race Astons and is with the Porsche now in number 92. That's pretty much a works drive for Porsche. So interesting to see that, but I think it's a lap down. And then next up is Jan Magnussen, father of Grand Prix driver Kevin Magnussen. And Jan still looking very, very young. In fact, he of course had a bit of a Grand Prix career himself with McLaren and Stewart. And I always remember Jackie Stewart saying very, very complimentary things about Jan Magnussen. But he just didn't seem to have the application. And it's just possible that the packet of cigarettes permanently in his pocket might have put one or two people off. But Jan Magnussen finding a place in the Chevrolet. There's plenty of space for his cigarettes, and it's got a cigarette lighter as well, probably.
Absolutely, but he's just set the fastest first sector for that car. I think we're seeing our second happy hour now. We're seeing lots of green sector times across the screen, meaning that that's that car's fastest sector time so far. So certainly those GTE cars getting serviced now with brakes and things like that. We're beyond the halfway. Well beyond the halfway, so the time we would expect to see it. With these cars definitely needing more servicing than the LMP1 cars, the bespoke designed LMP1 cars, where you can design in these service aids or enough pad material to get you through the race. The GTE AM62 car, that guy, good to see those cars, that car still in the running. Those guys very much a team of AMs. Unlike the majority of the rest of the class, looks like they're just out there enjoying themselves, getting that car home, which is, I'm sure, what all of those guys are after. But who would have said, sitting here on Wednesday evening, that we would be seeing two Audis running 1-2 at the top of the leaderboard? Would have been an idiot to write them off, but to see that Toyota challenge fall by the wayside with a failure stopping the car out on circuit, the 7 car that was leading. We believe that it was just indeed an electrical problem. The only statement we've seen from the Toyota team, an electrical problem, nothing more. We don't know if there's been further damage to that car, but an electrical fault, unidentified electrical fault. Anthony Davidson, of course, in the last remaining Toyota, which lost so much time in that instant last night when we had the first rain shower quite early on in the race, just into the second stint, quite well on into the second stint, just as we were seeing the cars come in for their second stop and make the change. But we had the heavens absolutely open, and that car and the Marco Bononomi Audi being involved in an incident that we're not entirely certain who caused that. It certainly seemed like the 8 car went piling in, but Sam Bird taken out in the GTE AM leading Ferrari at the time as well, and he certainly made contact with Bononomi in the Audi. Whether it was a pinball effect or not, we don't know, but nobody seemed to really know what went on, and we still haven't seen the replay from Nick Lapierre's Toyota, which is the car that really would have answered those questions. The 24 LMP2 car coming in, that car up there in the class, P5.
6th in class, I think 6.
6, yeah, just behind Harry Ticknell in the Motorsport Zytek, the 38 car. That car, probably the last time we're going to see it here, as Zytek announced their new LMP2 Coupe program. And the car, full service, driver out. So as the sun rises, lots of teams taking this as an opportunity to press the reset button, get the drivers out, change the tyres, fill it up with fuel, change the brakes, bit of oil, and get the car going. Interesting inspection going on inside the wheel arch there after they've put the wheel back on, so not sure what they're looking at there. Maybe just rubber build-up in these side pods. We saw the rubber fire last night in the back of one of the stopping Porsches that had come in with a puncture. I think that was the Jerome Bleekemolen car. You often see that, just heat build-up, rubber getting trapped somewhere on an exhaust pipe and catching fire, easily put out with a bit of CO2.
Yeah, they didn't seem all that fussed about it, really. Well, they did when they discovered it, I suppose. It
Yes.
took them a while before they found it.
As the man had put all the fuel in, and then...
yes, exactly. Just what you need, really.
Car. Yes.
With a flame underneath the car.
Fuel the fire, as they say. So that car on its way, not really chasing the Ticknell car down, I don't think. A lap back on that car, Ticknell on 224 laps. And he's chasing down the Rebellion, actually. But the Rebellion pulling away from him, but that's not a glass battle. The number 2 car now, still out there leading the race overall. Marcel Fassler getting himself settled into a rhythm. Be interesting to see if he manages a quadruple stint now that we're seeing the sun come up. Coming through Tertre Rouge now, down onto the Mulsanne straight. Bit of traffic ahead of him. Just going to get the run on it. Passes one of the AF Corsa Ferraris there on the left-hand side. Heading down towards the first chicane now, building to 320 kilometres an hour before hitting the brakes hard to turn right and then left. You'll hear the car harvesting its electrical energy, or it's turning that electrical energy into the spinning up of the flywheel sitting in the cockpit next to the driver. You hear the flywheel whine there as he turns right and then left and back to the right again. And if we had the onboard camera bar, you would see the energy being used now to accelerate that car back up to somewhere around the 300 kilometre an hour mark, and then the engine, the internal combustion engine, doing the rest.
Interesting different lap times. I mean, they can vary by 6 or 7 seconds. For example, there's Mark Webber. His previous lap was a 3 minutes 30.9. This one's a 3 minutes 36.9 for Mark Webber in third place.
You almost get the feeling Porsche just want that car to come home now and see what happens, because there's a long way to go. We still have 8.5 hours of this race remaining. There's every reason to think that somebody's might trip themselves over, as we saw with Kazuki Nakajima in the Toyota. You know, nothing that he did wrong, but the car just stopping out on track with this undisclosed electrical fault. And yeah, difficult to for those two guys at Toyota, having had such a strong run, dominated this race until that point. And
it's probably going to get warmer. The air temperature obviously pretty cool at the moment, 12.6 degrees, as you say. The sun just coming up, and the track temperature 15.6. So there's a lot of heat to come, and there's a clear blue sky, I'm pleased to say. And so it is going to get warmer, and that's going to take its toll on these engines. Having said that, Alex Brundle has just set a personal best right at the front of LMP2 with a 3 minutes 38.032. That perhaps means nothing to you, but just to be doing that at this stage, I mean, the man is obviously well fired up.
Absolutely, the quickest lap so far for that car, so bettering the Jan Mardenborough time, taking a lot of time out of that car's personal best in the last sector of the lap. Clearly getting a good run through. Good to see that 27 SMP Racing car still out there battling on. The SMP Racing LMP2 car with Mika Salo at the wheel.
Yeah, that was crashed in the warm-up, and as I mentioned much earlier on, Mika Salo not feeling too comfortable after that. He thinks the seat broke in the accident, and yet there it is, still out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys at SMP have had a really rough couple of days, to be honest, rebuilding the 37 car from a chassis on Friday after a qualifying incident for quick Nick Manasseh.
Much better lap this time from Mark Webber, getting into the 3 minutes 30s, but we haven't really seen phenomenal pace. There's Marc Genet trying to put a smile on his face, but yeah, hi Mark. Marc Genet, who was drafted into number 1 from the 38 Jota car, now in number 1 Audi, sharing with Lucas Di Grassi and Tom Christensen. And, well, they're still there in second place, about 3 laps behind their teammates, however. Marcel Fessler, Benoit Trelouillet in the number 2 Audi out in front. And they're sharing, of course, with Andre Lotterer as well. So those 3 with a very comfortable lead.